Alright, hi, this is Jake. I'm going to show you my Bootstrap presentation right now. So let's begin. Alright, my development environment is Sublime Text 2, and it's pretty straightforward. I just use that as an editor. I basically just use that in command line with Ruby on Rails to make the website that I'm going to show you right now. Other than that, there's not really any development that I have. I don't really have an IDE or anything like that. So, alright, basically from top to bottom, I created a nav bar for it, which also is collapsible, and I also created a nice panel. It should be 3 rows of 3 columns on a desktop, 2 on a tablet, and a single column on a smartphone. And I put an iframe at the bottom with a Spotify play in it, and then at the very bottom I put a footer. So, alright, and here we are. Basically, I keep the branding on the left here, and I'll usually do these clickable links on the right if I'm making a website, but with this one I just kept them all bunched together over here. It doesn't look bad, especially when the font's different. Nice little highlighting that goes on, and you can change the color on that. You can pretty much do an incredible amount of stuff with CSS and Bootstrap. And then I have a panel at the top. It's just an example panel, but I like to use it as kind of a makeshift header on a lot of websites. You know, if you would click, for example, these, I would have a nice these at the top and maybe like really kind of go crazy with different fonts and that sort of thing. There's a massive amount available online. They're really easy just to load in. But we're doing a thing about Bootstrap and not CSS, so I didn't really do a whole lot of CSS, actually really any other than the Bootstrap that's on here. So this is the panel that I created. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward stuff. Just making sure you know exactly how that works is important, and that might be the only place that you could have issues with a site like this or Bootstrap in general. You just got to know how it's cut up and how the grid works, and I actually keep all mine in the same class right there instead of doing 3 separate ones and just do them all in the same class. I actually just really started doing that recently, but other than that it's pretty straightforward. Like I said, I use a lot of defaults. I didn't create my own custom classes for it with CSS or anything, so we have that, and I'm going to show you that on desktop it's 3 wide. We're going to go down to about the size of an iPad, and it's going to be about 2, and that's pretty nice. I like 2 columns. I don't like this to collapse. You can change the default to let it collapse for a tablet, but I don't do that. I like it to be open. And then we go up and into about the size of a phone, and it's collapsed. So you can see that. You can see how the panel resizes really, really well. And then you can also see how I have a single column. The only problem is the iframe is a little too wide for this size, but if I were to tailor it out a little bit, the iframe is perfect. So I think it'd be important to find out what kind of phones people are using, especially what you're going to develop this for, and then maybe just customize it to that. I have a little example footer down here. On my other projects, the footers are a lot more complicated and are just basically like a nav bar, but kind of south. But other than that, I pretty much think that the project has shown exactly how Bootstrap works and everything like that. And if you have any questions, I'd love to answer them. I'm going to send you my website that I finished up for a client that I used in the last class as a website, and I use Bootstrap to do it. The grid system works well. A good example of when a dev would use this would be like I just said, anytime you want to create a really professional looking website or mobile environment, and I've used it on all the sites I've made in the past, year or so. So, alright, thank you, and that's it.